Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Welcome back.
So, guys, before we get into this topic, just wanted to mention if you guys checked out BP and Wages World, everybody's been talking about. We have definitely a lot of energy coming in from the sun. You know, there was a couple of big flares that went off. And just curious, how are you guys feeling? Because they can affect us. The energy from the sun can affect us. It could give you headaches, irritability, insomnia.
Oh my gosh, yes. And my head is pounding. I am so dizzy. I'm not even going to talk a whole lot through this little podcast because I'm just so dizzy.
Yeah, it's the energy incoming. And of course, some of us are more sensitive than others to energy. And there's pluses and minuses to everything. So why more men are suffering from infertility than ever before? Actually, all the projections for population and what the population was going to be if you go back like 20 years ago, they're going to fall exceedingly short of what we're told. And of course, we also know that we were told that there'd be no more ice at the poles by now, et cetera, as we are, many people are catching on to the bigger picture here. Sperm counts in Western countries have dropped by more than 50% since the 1970s. At the same time, men's problems with conceiving are going up. Erectile dysfunction is increasing. Testosterone levels are declining by 1% each year. The current state of reproductive affairs can't continue much longer without threatening human survival, warned Mount Sinai fertility scientist Dr. Shanna Swan in her book, Countdown. Countdown. The count is down. It's down for the count.
That's cute.
Isn't it? It's a global existential crisis. As we look at, certain faces over there, second picture down. Yeah, if the truth was only understood by more people, wow, we would have a real change in outlook. And I know a lot of you guys that have been with me a long time, sometimes they don't want to be redundant, but then there's new people coming in. So we have to just keep connecting the pieces, for the new people that come in as well.
Yep, you do.
So, yeah, this is huge. This is really, really, really huge. Population is going to be declining through the roof. Now, of course, obviously, we're going to be having hyperinflation. There's lots of talk about us being in a situation similar to the Weimar Republic. By the end of the year, food prices could be, who knows, double, triple, quadruple, 10 times more. Yeah. With what's happening and what we were talking about on the first one, with just one natural, quote unquote, disaster after another. And then you have this. The canary in the coal mine, right? Since 2017, this author has sounded the alarm and talking about a 59% decrease in sperm count between 73 and 2011. Is that just another little quote-unquote natural blip? I don't think so. I mean, there's been so many things that people thought were crazy, microwaves causing problems, cell phones causing health problems, nonstick cookware of certain types causing health problems. And over time, you could just check the boxes on all these things that get verified. It's incredible. Worldwide fertility has dropped by 50% from 1960 to 2015. And a lot of these nations are having declining population. We are also, like the United States, we've lost our life expectancy like the last 3 years in a row. What is really going on? And then we find out that the plague upon the land can also lower the counts. Oh, how did that get in there? What? I don't know where that came from. Yeah, there's something bigger going on here. It makes me think about Noah's Ark and the flood story. How the population had grown so large, was starting to get unmanageable. Of course, we're told that, it was man's sins that caused the flood, and God sent the flood. Yeah, there's a lot of floods out there now. There's an awful lot of floods. It does feel like we're in the time of Noah. Nice oars he's got there, isn't it? Look at, he's got improvised oars. Maybe he's going to play some ping pong. And then we learn that the Sumerian flood story happened, is in writing. It's in the cuneiform writing script. It's over 2,000 years older than the biblical story. Now there, it's different. It's not necessarily man's sins. It's just man's too much of a burden. Man's too numerous, multiplying too much. And so, too noisy. And Enlil, who's in charge, one of the gods, well, Enlil says, I just can't have this. They're too much of a pain in the butt. So, you get the flood, wipes out everybody except for the ones that Enki warned, his brother, who is also actually god of the waters. Coincidentally, that's why you see the waters coming off of him. And so humankind is brought back down to a manageable number. And of course, from these Anunnaki stories, right? The Sumerian stories about the Anunnaki, these gods, and then we have the Ijiji, these lower level gods, so to speak, that rebel, and humanity is created to be a slave race, or perhaps humanity's DNA is snipped as we look at the second chromosome, and our ability to use our pineal gland or Merkaba to flow and be able to rise up and ascend through the densities is taken away, and there's a soul trap of sorts that keeps people in this non-stop wheel of reincarnating in a lower vibrational frequency. And thus, there are the slaves to do the work, and there's plenty of loosh.
Yeah, oh, there's so much loosh, and that's never ending. They've created our world and the information around us to keep us in like a state of fear, to keep collecting that loosh.
So it's interesting, because again, from those Sumerian tales of the Anunnaki, quote unquote, gods, mankind at sometimes, gets too big for its britches. If we look at the Tower of Babel incident, and you see, and the Lord said, "Behold, they are one people, and they all have one language." And this is what they begin to do. They begin to build a tower up into the heavens. Now, that could be interpreted many ways. Do you think it really was a building that went, hundreds of miles high in the sky? No, there's so much symbolism going on there. It was perhaps culture, technology, understanding, knowledge, perhaps even ascension, coming in through a different opportunity window, perhaps a different solar cycle, perhaps a different period of increased cosmic rays coming in, mutating DNA again. So you can't have people united as one people. Well, why not? I mean, would we have any wars then? Maybe we'd actually get along. One language, maybe that refers to open pineal glands and being able to read each other's thoughts, telepathy. And some people will, not as many, but some people will still say, oh, that can't be, there's no such thing as psychic abilities. But those people are all drinking fluoridated water. They're having a 6-pack of Pepsi every night and eating a lot of white sugar. So there's a lot more to this story, and especially because nothing will be withheld from them which they purpose to do. In other words, we could build a good united society. Wow. Why would God, a benevolent God, not want that?
That's one of the best questions. It's our $1 million question. And what I think is happening now is we are all learning that our energy can make a difference. If we put our energy collectively towards something like a more positive outcome, it can happen.
So, just to recap, sperm counts going down, right? Infertility on the rise. Actually, population growth rate is going to be heading into reverse pretty soon. Life expectancy going down. Plague upon the land seems to increase that. And, perhaps there is only a manageable number of, only so many humans that can be kept in a manageable state. And again, look at the fluoridated water, because it also makes people more kind of manipulable. If we look in WW2, that was given to the people in the camps, so we see, people are just too numerous. Well, then, God sends a flood. A lot of flooding out there this time, in this period we are in. And then we learn all about the Anunnaki and, their ways and their means and methods and the way they view humanity. And we see that, God doesn't want people united and not fighting. So it feels very strange. It does feel very strange. Can you catch that vibe?
It's so true. And just all this information is piling on top more and more and more. And more people are honestly waking up. So it's almost like they have to throw curveballs to slow down the progress.
Exactly. So we got 6 supplements that maybe can help your sperm out there. And we'll see, we'll see how that's going to go. But men can take supplements like vitamin C, D, and E to boost fertility. Experts recommend taking fertility supplements for at least 3 months. Fertility supplements won't undo infertility issues from an unhealthy lifestyle. And, that's so true. Mm-hmm. Right now, we need to be as healthy as we can.
Well, we have to be detoxing like every day.
Exactly. So vitamin E, vitamin C, L-carnitine, vitamin D, zinc, and folic acid are what they are recommending. And, there's going to be a lot to overcome in these times. We can see it. And it's going to take unity. And so that's the big thing, unity. First, we got to get enough people to awaken. And again, work with people of like mind and do what you can to grow your own food as much as possible. So, create ways of getting out of the system.
Most definitely, get creative, because it's not a one-size-fits-all thing. Get to know your neighbors, understand who's around you and who's able to talk and maybe make some plans and who's not.
Yes, and thank you guys for being part of the family. Make sure that you are subscribed with the bell clicked. As always, thanks for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. Always, guys, God bless. Stay prepared. Namaste.
Namaste.